Welcome back sa aking channel. Narito na naman tayo para maghatid ng maiinit na balita mula sa mundo ng politika at social media. Umusbong ang matinding tensyon sa pampulitikang eksena matapos tuluyang arestuhin si Senador Rodante Marcoleta noong Lunes, Hulyo 6 ukol sa kasong plunder o pandambong na hinahain ng Office of the Ombudsman. Nagugat ang kaso sa hindi umano pagdedeklara ni Marcoleta ng kabuuang 70 milyong pisong pondo mula sa mga donasyon noong nakaraang kampanya para sa halalan. Bagaman naglungsad ng 3 araw na kilos protesta ang mga taga-suporta ng mambabatas upang ipanawagan ang kanyang kalayaan, hindi ito naging sapat upang mapigilan ang paghahain ng warrant of arrest matapos ibasura ng sandigang bayan ng kanyang apela. Usap-usapan ngayon sa publiko ang naging reaksyon ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. na inilarawan ng mga kritiko na luhaan o bigong mapigilan ang pagguho ng alyansa ng pangkatin sa bansa. Lalo't pat kasabay nito ang pag-usad ng impeachment trial laban kay Vice Presidente Sara Duterte. Ayon sa mga ulat, lalong naging mitsa ng spekulasyon ng komprontansya sa isang nakaraang pagtitipon kung saan tahasang sinuklap o binaliwala ng mga mamamayan at kritiko ang mga naging depensa ng administrasyon. Ukol sa tila piling pagpapatupad ng hustisya, ang naturang pambabatikos mula sa mga taga-reporter ay nag-iwan ng malaking mantsa sa liderato ng Pangulo upang humarap sa mga kasunod-sunod na krisis ang kanyang mga dating kaalyado. Matapos isagawa ang pang-aaresto, bago magtanghaling Lunes, hindi muna idiniretso sa piitan si Marcoleta matapos itong dinala sa ospital dahil sa biglaang pagsakit ng dibdib at pagtaas ng presyon ng dugo. Ayon sa Department of Interior and Local Government, sumailalim pa sa mga medical na pagsusuri ang 70 anyos na mambabatas upang matukoy kung kailan ito ligtas na may haharap sa rito ng korte habang nanatili sa ilalim ng kustodiya ng senador. Patuloy lamang na tumutok para sa aming mga maiinit na balita at update mula sa mundo ng politika at social media. Salamat sa mga walang sawang pagsuporta. Manatiling nakatutok sa aming channel. Huwag kalimutan mag-like, share, and subscribe para lagi kang updated sa mga maiinit na balita mula sa mundo ng politiko.
To do anything about this. Bakit ang mga nakaramba ng Pangulo, may nakita ba kayong ginawang ganon? Meron ba silang kinulong? Meron ba silang finish na account? Meron ba silang
Meron.
investigasyon na ginawa? Wala.
Meron.
Sa akin lang. Tapos sasabihin, ako daw ang may kagagawan. Eh kung talagang racket ko yun, ba't ko sisirain yung racket ko?
Kasi nabisto ka. Yun ang dahilan. Nako, inulan ho ng batikos itong si Marcos Jr. sa mundo ng social media ngayong mga panahon na to. Paano ba naman kasi? Pati ho yung accomplishment nitong si Alex Yala na kung saan wala ni katiting na partisipasyon ng ating gobyerno, eh gusto ho atang nakawin itong si Marcos Jr. Ako ng pwede lang garabata. Yan ang nga po sinasabi ko. Comment ho natin sa baba ha. Congratulations Alex Yala. Palakpakan ho natin ang ating kababayan. Hindi ba gaganon-ganon ka pa para namang meron kang ano dyan? Meron kang partisipasyon, meron kang contribution. Sa sobrang magnanakaw nitong mama na to, lahat na lang gusto nakawin. Eto, pakinggan ho natin to. By the way, talaga ho atang tutuluyan na ho ng ombudsman itong si Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Ang nakakalungkot ho dito, baka bago mag-umpisa ang impeachment laban dito kay VP Sara ay talagang tatrabahuin ho itong si Senator Rodante Marcoleta kasi isa ho yan sa nakikita nilang magiging tinik ng prosecution dyan sa Senado pag nagkataon dahil matinik ho yan si Senator Rodante Marcoleta kung nasa House of Representative lang ho ito at membro siya ng Injustice Committee ni Jim Cruistro, baka doon pa lang ho tapos na itong impeachment ito, pero dahil nga nasa ilalim ho ng diktatura ang House of Representatives ng 19th Congress at base sa ating nakikita ngayong 20th Congress ganun din ho ang suma kaya nagdire-diretso yung impeachment na yan. Ngayon gusto pang tanggalin yung isang mama na alam natin na magtatanong dito sa impeachment na to na kung saan yung mga tanong para sa interest talaga ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Gusto pa ho nilang dispatchin. Kaya yan ho ang nakakalungkot dito. Isang like at isang subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community. Yung join button nandyan lang ho sa baba. Re-recta na ho kagad tayo dito kay Bangag.
Thank you. Before I make my statement on the trip, napanood nyo ba si Alex Ella kanina?
Yes sir. Akala mo naman meron contribution ng ating pamahalaan doon. Maliban doon sa pagiging Pilipino ni Alex Yala, anak ng Tokwa, baka pagka tinanong ko siya kung anong nationality niya, yung adik yung presidente nyo. Ang bihira. Kapal talaga ng mukha nito presidente na to. Dapat sabihin mo na congratulations Alex Yala. Hindi yung tipong... yung tipong... Parang naman.
She really is she's becoming a true inspiration, especially for younger people, younger Filipinos. At biluin mo, meron na tayong player, babae pa, na nanalo ng third round sa Wimbledon. It does not get... It's not the tennis does not operate at a higher level than Wimbledon. So she's really world class na talaga. She's terrific. If you remember when she first started winning, sabi ko nagumpisa pa lang. She's just getting started. Well, you can see. Turns out I was
Prediction ng bangag, akala mo talaga naiintindihan yung naiintindihan yung tennis eh. Tayo kahit ayaw natin magbida-bida dyan kasi hindi naman talaga natin naiintindihan. Nanalo siya, pero yung style ng pagpalo niya, singhot ka na lang, Brad. Pambira ka
That's
na.
right. She's just getting started. Marami pang ibubuga yung bata natin.
Kung marami pa siyang ibubugay ka, marami ka pa sisinghutin.
Yes, it's good news. I caught the last set kanina umaga.
Ay, quote the last set. Yun lang ang pinanood mo kasi panalo, nabalitaan mo.
And it was a great result. Great result. Congratulations, Alex. Keep it up. We'll all be here. The whole Filipino nation is cheering you on. At we know that you are
Toxic Filipino mentality. Yan, Marcos Jr. style.
fighting or making proud and bringing luster and honor to the Philippines. Keep going, keep going, keep going. We are behind you. All right. Let me first read my post-visit statement on this official visit that we have just completed here in Canada. So, to our friends in the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am pleased to report on the productive meetings that we have had with Canada's top government officials and key economic players during our stay here in Vancouver, British Columbia. Ushering in a new chapter in our ties with Canada, Prime Minister Carney and I announced the elevation of Philippine-Canada relations to a strategic partnership. This move, while reflective of the deep and strong bilateral relations that we have developed with Canada, also catalyzes our next steps towards the new phase of our relations in ensuring the sustained and dynamic growth of our bilateral ties. Mahaba na ang pagkakaibigan ng ating mga bansa at halos 1 milyong Pilipino na ang naninirahan dito sa Canada. Ngunit sa biyaheng ito at
Meron pa huwatang nakasabit sa kanyang alangala kaya ganon siya ng ganon, no? Pambihira talaga. Pagka mag-ano ka na, may harap ka na sa media, huwag ka na munang sumihot. Bihira ka naman.
ating minarapat na paigtingin at isulong ang mga importanteng kaganapan sa ating pakikipag-ugnayan sa Canada sa larangan ng
Baka tumulo yung tubig sa ilong niya kaya kailangan continuous yung pagsingkot niya.
seguridad, kalakalan at komersyo at iba pa. I have tasked the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Maria Teresa Lazaro, to work together with Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand to create a plan of action focusing on joint initiatives that will help both our countries adapt to shifting global realities, address shared challenges, and build capacities for future-ready partnerships. This takes into account current global and regional developments, including rapid changes in technology, as well as social and environmental challenges that bring together uncertainty and volatility, and that seems that will have an impact on the future of our two nations. Prime Minister Carney and I agreed on the strategic importance of the Indo-Pacific and the need for Canada's sustained engagement with the region. In support of Philippine interests and in line With our strategic location in the Indo-Pacific, we agreed to build
Yan ang problema, English ka ng English, ang nakakaintindi lang sa iyo, yung mga oligarko mong kaibigan. Mag-Tagalog ka kasi, buisit na to.
on our shared regional priority.
Kahit ako, hirap akong umintindi sa buisit ting na English na yan eh. Ganda-ganda ng salita natin, English ka ng English. Punta ka sa Amerika, pagkatapos ng termino, parekulong ka doon, lunya ka.
As we move forward.
English ng English.
I spoke about the three main pillars of the Philippines' chairship of ASEAN this year: building prosperity corridors, strengthening peoples, and strengthening peace and security anchors, as well as our unified response to ensure energy and food security and the protection of our nationals in light of geopolitical changes. I reaffirmed the Philippines' commitment to work with Canada and ASEAN in concluding the negotiations for the regional ASEAN-Canada Free Trade Agreement this year. I also thank Prime Minister Carney for Canada's vocal and consistent support in upholding the rule of law in the South China Sea, particularly on the basis of UNCLOS.
Rule of law ka ng rule of law, pagkaharap mo nyo ng China, tuklop ka naman. Sabagay, isa yan sa mga ano nila, sa mga ika nga exit plan nila dyan sa dyan sa napakalaking ano na yan, pag nanakaw sa kawan ng sambayanan ng West Philippines Sea. Talagang pagliliyabin nila yung issue dyan pagka hindi na-impeach si BP Sara. Yan ang sinasabi ko sa inyo mga kababayan. Pagliliyabin nila yan para maisagawa nila yung kanilang mga pinaplano. Mga bangag nga. Wala naman silang pakialam.
And the 2016 Arbitral Award. I convey the hope that as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Arbitral Award, Canada will continue to be one of the leading voices in upholding the award as an unassailable part of the corpus of international law. I committed to work with the Prime Minister in standing against economic coercion, increasing our bilateral trade, and building resilient supply chains. On this last point, I thank Prime Minister Carney for the decision to participate in the Luzon Economic Corridor with an initial investment pledge of 2 million Canadian dollars to support infrastructure, the supply chain, and clean energy projects within the LEC. I witnessed with Prime Minister Carney the signing of the Joint Declaration of Intent on Energy and Natural Resources Cooperation. This underscores the importance of energy security, economic security, sustainable economic growth, and resilient supply chains in supporting economic prosperity and the global energy transition. I also met with top officials of Canada's key economic players. Some of them have been actively engaged already in the Philippines, and they employ thousands of workers. However, we still look forward to the eventual entry of more Canadian companies into the Philippines investment landscape. During the high-level roundtable meetings with leading Canadian companies and industry leaders, I underscored the Philippines' commitment to fostering a competitive, sustainable, and innovation-driven economy. The discussions focused on strengthening cooperation in mining, critical minerals, energy, the IT BPM sector, key industries that will support the country's industrial transformation, digital economy, and long-term economic resilience. Conversations with the IT BPM companies also focused on global artificial intelligence hubs and learning centers that will serve as centralized AI-driven facilities to upskill these companies' global workforce. Amidst the complex geopolitical uncertainties that continue to shape our global strategic partnerships, pursuing a deliberate strategy for trade diversification has become an economic imperative, especially with like-minded parties such as Canada. I highlighted the Philippines' strategic role as a trusted investment destination and reliable partner for Canadian businesses seeking to diversify operations and expand in the Indo-Pacific region. I also met with the B2 Gold Corporation, Oceana Gold Corporation, TELUS Corporation, and NQX to discuss their investment plans in our country. All these business engagements in the sectors of mining, critical minerals, energy, services, and IT BPM resulted in a combined $2.5 billion in investment from Canadian partners. Thus, it is already timely that we presently are negotiating a free trade agreement with Canada, which we hope will further strengthen our economic cooperation once it enters into force. I am pleased with the deepening of our defense and security ties through our existing landmark agreements on defense and military cooperation, such as the status of visiting forces agreement and the mutual logistics support arrangement. These mechanisms translate our commitment to maintain a peaceful and stable region into practical and tangible actions. My delegation also met with our Canadian counterparts as we pursue new collaborations in certain niche areas, such as mining, critical minerals, nuclear energy, and in space. During my visit, we were also able to sign agreements that will harness the strength of our diaspora as the anchor of our bilateral relations, such as in culture and in the arts, tourism, labor, and migration. My last activity last night was a meeting with over 500 members of the Filipino community who came to Vancouver from different parts of Canada. And Canada is a very large country, and some of them came a very long way. I was heartened by their presence and the positive remarks of the Canadian government officials and ordinary Canadian citizens about the Philippines diaspora and how they are very glad and very happy to have the Filipinos that are here in Canada. Filipinos in Canada are widely respected and regarded as a steady and positive force in Canada's society. I conveyed to the Philippine community the Philippine government's continued support for overseas Filipinos and our appreciation for their continued hard work and dedication to their families and loved ones in the Philippines. Tunay na naging matagumpay ang ating biyahe kung saan napagsakayunan natin ang ilang mga inisyatibo sa hanay ng gobyerno at ng pribadong sektor. Hard work, though, does not end here. Patuloy tayong magsisikap upang ang ating nakamit at nasimulan sa Canada ay yayabong at madarama ng mas nakakaraming Pilipino. Maraming salamat. Thank you. Good morning.
Tanong mo na. Daming kaartihan. Akala mo naman talagang nag-enjoy yung mga pinuntahan niya dyan. Yung mga leader ng Canada, alam naman na adik ka, kapatid mo nga mismo nagsasabi. Siguro, sa tingin ko ha, medyo maglalaylo na yan sa paglabas ng Pilipinas. Pagkatapos nung nakita niyang pagtanggap ng mga Pilipino sa kanya dyan sa Canada, maglalaylo yan. Kasi kahit saan ba siyang pumunta yan, sigurado ko tayo sasalubungin mo yan sa damukal na Crazy Protesta. Adik
Maraming salamat
Sabi ni Amy.
po, Mr. President.
Good.
The first question po from Raquel Bayan of Radio Pilipinas.
Good morning po, Mr.
Good morning.
President. Sir,
Nagbasa lang hiningal. Okay ka lang. Nagbasa ka pa lang yan ha.
in your joint statement last day and also yesterday in front of the Filipino community, you mentioned that you conveyed your hope that Canada would continue to address the barriers for the recognition of the credentials of the Philippine-educated professional. May we know, sir, how was this received by the Prime Minister? Did he commit to anything with this regard?
The reason that we spoke about that is that there has been a change in the law here in Canada when it comes to the migration. To begin with, the quota for Filipino workers has been lessened, and but there are still areas of the new law that are unclear to us, and that's really what I ask. Of course, it would be highly improper for me to suggest any changes in another country's law. All we were asking is that to make very clear and very transparent exactly what the rules are, so that the Filipinos here who are already in Canada know their status. We just want to make sure they have been here. Some of the Filipinos I met during the trip have been here 15 years, have been here at least 5 years, 10 years. and that the status of those who are already living and working here remains the same. And then for the future also, to better understand the new regulations, the new laws, the new quotas, so that we in the Philippines are also able to adjust.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next question from Tristan Nodalo of Newswatch.
Good morning, Mr. President. Sir, the West Philippine Sea in 2016 Arbitral Award were among the issues discussed during your meeting with Prime Minister Carney. Well, Canada has been one of the countries open.
Isang hininga ni Marcos Jr. nakaka-distract. Kung gusto mo ma-resolve yung West Philippine Sea, makipag-usap ka doon sa mga kagirian natin. Huwag silang magbomba ng tubig. Ano magagawa ng Canada? Ay, sa bagay, publicity stunt ng mga addict yan.
Openly backing the arbitral ruling, but we mark as the award marks its 10th anniversary, China continues to reject it, calling it null and void. But sabi po ng ilang mga observers, the Philippines missed a lot of opportunities during the previous administration in enforcing the award. So sa panahon nyo raw po, we are making up for lost time, and under your watch, how concerned are you that a future administration...
Ito nakasalamin na to. Tanongin kita. Si kakatabi niya si Auntie Claire. Kuyang, pakikumusta mo na lang ako sa lagay ni Auntie Claire, pakikumusta mo na lang ako. Tanongin kita. Nakalimutan ko tuloy yung tanong ko. Na-distract lang naman ako kay Auntie Claire. Si Auntie Claire kasi. Di ba? Sige, tuloy mo na muna yan.
Could take a different approach and weaken the gains your government has made in terms of enforcing the arbitral award?
Well, of course, it's a very important issue for the Philippines. So if you're asking me if I'm worried that the policy of the Philippines will
Enforce mo. Puta ka sa West Philippines.
change after I leave office, of course I am. Because it's almost, not quite, but it's almost an existential issue for us. Because maybe not existential for ordinary Filipinos, but for the state of the Philippines, of the Philippine Republic. So we really have to be consistent in that. And I think the rightness in our positioning, in terms of the way we position the Philippines in our foreign policy vis-a-vis the arbitral award, is validated by countries like Canada who support it and see it as simply a enforcement of international law and the defense of our territorial integrity and the exercise of our sovereign rights within our sovereign territory. So it is a very enormous, there are no issues before any president that are greater than that. Some are equally important, but that is as important as anything else that we are having to deal with. Okay?
Thank you po. The next question from Bea of Rappler. Bea.
Yes, hello. Good morning, Mr. President. During your press conference with the Prime Minister, you spoke of the importance of keeping communication between partners very active, again, given the disruption to the world order, to keep stability, even as we expand and deepen our relationships with countries like Canada. So, but I wonder, how do you make sense of Beijing's decision to impose sanctions on Secretary Teodoro, even as you are seeking to reset ties with China? And on a broader note, how would you describe the Philippine-U.S. relationship right now?
Okay. Well, the declaration of Beijing as Secretary Teodoro as a persona non grata, I guess, in China, it's just not. It's very unhelpful, in my view, because it really achieves very little. It's more.
Nakakaano ka naman, Brad. Anak ng tokwa. Prerogative nila yung kahit ikaw gusto ka nilang i-persona ng grata, wala kayong pakialam doon. Kasi nga aso ng Amerika yang si Teodoro. Ngayon kung nakikita ng bansa China na ang mama na yan, imbis na makabuti dyan sa usapin ng West Philippine Sea, lalong pinapalala, talagang dapat lang, dapat nga ikaw persona ng grata ka sa buong mundo Kasi kahit saang bundok, saang bansa ka man magpunta, nakakatakot Diba? Makahiraman mo pa ng pera yung makausap mo dyan, mahirap na. Kami singilin Problema kasi dito, pagka nang hiram ng pera tong mama na to, tayo magbabayad. Lagi kong paalala sa mga bansang pupuntahan nitong mama na to, huwag niyong pahiraman ng pera, please lang. Pakainin nyo na ng masarap, pasinghutin nyo na ng mga pulburon-pulburon, huwag nyo lang pahiramin ng pera.
Or how do you say, a response to some of the things that some of the pronouncements that he's made in foreign fora. But it does not move the discussion between the Philippines and China regarding the conflicts that we have, the territorial conflicts that we have. It does
Hindi nga kasi magmumove. Kahit na ano mangyari, persona ng grata siya, hindi siya persona ng grata, hindi magmumove. Diba? Kasi paano magmumove? Interest ng Amerika ang ating itinutulak dyan sa West Philippines, hindi naman interest ng Pilipino. Kumbaga, ginagamit lang natin yung issue ng West Philippine Sea, ginagamit ng Amerika yon para maitulak nila yung interest nila dyan. Kasi kung interest natin ang itutulak natin dyan, wala tayong ibang kinakausap. Yung mga kagirian lang natin, punta tayo dito, punta tayo doon. O halimbawa, nakabantayan China dyan sa ginawa mong pagpunta na yan sa Canada. Anak ng tokwa tayo. Kaming dalawa may problema. Naghahanap ng kung sino-sino, dinadaldal yung problema namin sa kapitbahay. Kumprontahin mo, mag-usap kayo. Hindi yung kumprontahin na meron kang gun sa likod Ibang usapan nyo, wala talaga mangyayaring matino doon. Sinda ka ng gusto mong mangyari, hindi kumprontahan.
does not move that process forward in any way. It does not make it easier. It does not lessen the risk of a mistake that will, or some kind of skirmish that could grow into something more, or even in moving forward trying to resolve this issue. So it's just not helpful. And I guess, of course, it's China's prerogative to do whatever it is they please, but in the larger scheme of things,
Ano bang gagawin sa China ni Chudoro? Diba? Ano bang gagawin nyo doon? Bira. Galit na galit nga siya sa China, tapos dapat nga pasalamat siya salamat, pinersona ng grata ko kasi hindi naman ako pupunta dyan. Ba't galit na?
in my view,
Wala na. Nagkabuhol-buhol na naman yung utak niya.
raises the level of tension rather than lessens it, which is always what we want. And that's why
Gusto mong malesin ng tension. Punta ka sa Canada. Gusto mong malesin. Punta ka sa Amerika. Gusto mo palang malesin Diba? Gusto mong malesin. Kaliwat ka na balikatan exercises. Gusto mong malesin. Panibagong EDCA site. Palakpakan mo natin ang ating adik na presidente. Pambihira. Gusto daw niyang malesin ng tensyon. Kaliwat kanan yung pagdagdag ng mga base militar ng Amerika sa Pilipinas. Kaliwat kanan ang military exercise ng Australia, Amerika, Japan, sa ating bansa. Pero gusto niyang malesin ng tensyon. Palakpakan mo natin. Adik Hindi, doon lang tayo sa realidad. Kasi kung, sino ba naman tayo? Maangas tayo sa loob ng Pilipinas. Pero pag labas natin bansa, wala tayo. Ikukumpara tayo sa China. Alikabok lang tayo. Yung mga realidad. Hindi gagana yung mga tikbalang, yung mga kapre, yung mga duwende, yung mga mambabarang, mga kukulam. Hindi gagana sa mga China yan. Kala natin, taas-taas na ang pagtingin natin sa mga sarili natin. Sa buong mundo,